Yeah, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about structure, or basically how I do top-down analysis from a higher time frame to lower time frames, at the same time viewing structure or creating a story on what will structure probably do. So right now we're at GBP USD. We're starting from the 12 month. So basically this is just a top-down analysis. At the same time, we're going to talk about structure, or how I personally view structure. So right now we see this high, lower high. Oh no, my bad. Higher high, higher low, higher low, higher high. Broke this higher low. So right now, if it broke that, then technically this is the current, broke that structure. So technically this is the current lower low. Then we're expecting another lower high. So either expecting price to go from this OB, since there's imbalance here, but it failed to do that. It did this lower high, then another lower low. Then when can we consider this as a lower high? As soon as price breaks lower from that lower low, or the recent lower low. Then we also have to consider the size of that pullback or that retracement, since price could technically just, let's reverse this. So we're currently, let's just say we're currently at this moment, then we see a break of structure here. Then we can't just say, oh, this is the lower low, but we have to wait for price to at least pull back and wait to create a lower high. So how do we wait for a low high? Because technically price, let's say price was here, pushed up a little bit, price was here, pushed up a little bit, and pushed lower. So technically you could say this is a lower high, then we're making another lower low. But for me, how I measure things first, so basically I either get a fib retracement, classic fib. So let's do a classic fib. So either want price to go near the 50% or the 78% of that move. So basically I'm just looking for a healthy retracement, basic healthy retracement. So either at the same time, at this moment, this was the 78% of that fib retracement. We also see, so basically we have confluence that we see an OB here, and also short price here, since at the same time we're forming bearishness because we broke the structure. Also the fib retracement from high to low is the golden zone. Basically this is what they call a golden zone, or the golden area of the fib retracement, the 78%. So we're adding confluence. So we're expecting currently price to push higher in that zone. But what price did is, let's just remove this. So price pulled back to at least near the 50%, which is basically a good pullback. So it's a good pullback. Then we're expecting this. Oh, this could be the lower high, but officially it's still not the lower high. It becomes official, or the actual lower high, as soon as it breaks the lower low. And as we can see, as soon as it broke the lower low, so we're expecting this to be the new lower low. If you just reverse it, let's just say price is currently at that moment. So we could say this is the new lower low, but we can still see a deeper push down. But at the same time, as soon as it broke this previous lower low, then we could consider this as a lower high, a valid lower high. As soon as we call it the valid lower high, then we're expecting price not to go higher than the lower high. So basically, if we're expecting price to go up, do a healthy pullback or retracement, and push down, since we're forming bearishness. As you can see, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we're expecting bearishness. But if price went higher above the previous lower high, then we could see a structure shift, or an order flow shift. Because if price didn't break this lower high, then we're continuing the bearish move. But if price broke higher than the lower high, then technically if it broke the lower high, then this at this point this could be the higher high. Then after, if we have a higher high, we're expecting a higher low. Then we expect a good pullback at least near the 50% from the high to low. So either near the 50% retracement or the 75% retracement. At the same time, we see an OB, so we're expecting near the a pullback near the OB. So let's just say it did a retracement then obviously, since we made a higher high, we're expecting bullishness. So we're expecting a new higher high. Then we have a higher high. As soon as we break this previous higher high, then we can call this a higher low. Then a push down. Technically, this could still not be the higher low, because price could basically do this and put a higher low, even lower higher low. But we can call this as a higher low as soon as price breaks the higher high or the previous higher high. So basically, that's how I view structure. So right now, what do we see on GBP USD? From a top-down perspective, we see a break of structure here. A boss. So we're expecting bearishness at this point. Then we could get a good pullback at least near the 50%. Then we could prepare for it, or we could prepare for this to be called a lower high, but we still can't call that unless we break the lower low. But you see that price broke the lower low. We're gonna do break of structure as soon as price broke lower low. So broke the previous lower low, and now we have a new lower low. Then we can call this as a actual lower high. Now what do we expect? That's what I said earlier, that we need at least a good pullback. So technically this is a good pullback right here near the 50%. So on lower time frames, this could be a lower high. Then it broke the lower low, the previous lower low. So we have then a new lower low. So what do we expect for price to do? Lower high, lower low. We're expecting it not to go higher from the lower high. If it goes higher from the lower high, then we're expecting higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But right now we're expecting bearishness. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So that's my current analysis on GU. So I'm expecting more bearishness since we're creating lower highs, lower lows, or even this lower low. So right now I'm still expecting price to possibly go higher from this point. So if we call out the fib again, possibly this could be the actual low right here. Then I'm waiting for price to pull back from this 75% of the fib, which is the golden zone. Also, we have an OB here, so we're correlating multiple stories at the same time. Now, so I'm expecting price to form bullishness to touch this, then continue go lower. So in the 12-month, we see that. Then let's go on the monthly. What do we see on the monthly at this current price point? We see, let's say price was here, break structure here. So technically this could be a higher high on this specific time frame. Higher high. So we're expecting higher high, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low. So we're expecting that. But failed to do that. This could be just a liquidity grab. As soon as it did that, immediately broke this lows. Then this could be a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, because it still didn't go above the previous lower high. Then we break the structure here again, the previous lower low. So this is the new lower low. Then we're expecting price to even push more lower since it didn't really break this lower high. So we're expecting price to push low. So it's we're having confluence also in the 6-month or the yeah, that was the 6-month time frame. The 6-month time frame was saying that we are gonna still push down. Then same at the monthly, since it didn't break the structure, so we're expecting more push down since we're forming a bearish trend or a bearish order flow. So we're expecting price to put a new lower low. Then so we're expecting the monthly to form a lower low. We go on the 1 day. What do we see? The current 1 day, it was forming a bullish trend, starts to pull back, creates a new, it breaks this structure here. So technically this could be a higher high. So price was doing this, pull back, higher high. So we're expecting price not to go the previous low. Let me delete this. So we're expecting price not to go from the previous low, go lower from the previous higher low. Because if price breaks the higher low, which it did, then we're expecting a order flow shift. So we're expecting, so it broke the higher low. So technically this is the new lower low. We're expecting a lower high. So lower high could be from this point or this point. Right now we're still waiting for a break of structure at this point. If it breaks this lower low right here, then we could call the highest point within the range a higher low. So let's say price was here, then it pushed lower. As soon as it breaks these lows, then we can call this a higher low. But right now it's not doing it. It's still above the higher low. So what can we see on price? Just did a pullback, then a push down. Then it didn't really go above this, because if it went above this on the lower time frame, then we're expecting price to pull back even higher. We see an OB here, then push lower. Right now we see this current price point on GU, we want bearishness, we want a pullback, then bearishness. So right now let's just say this is the higher low, even though it didn't break the lower low. So on lower time frames, it's more probabilistic for price to even push lower, since possibly this could be a lower high. Then we're waiting for a break of structure in the lower low. So this is the daily. Then let's go to the 4-hour. And then what do we see on the 4-hour? At the current 4-hour situation, let's just delete this. Look at the structure of the 4-hour. We see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It didn't go below, I think. Let's just say it didn't go below. A higher high, then broke this higher low. So what do we expect? A new low, a lower low, and another lower high. So basically, if it oh my word, if it breaks, remember, if it breaks the lower low, then we expect the higher low. If it breaks the higher low, then we call this a new lower low. So we're expecting a lower high, obviously, since it break the previous higher low. So right now, what do we expect on the 4-hour time frame? We're expecting, since it broke this, we're expecting a lower low, and we're expecting a good pullback either to this OB right here or this OB right here. At the same time, this is where we get our fibs to look for a good retracement area. So the 50% is aligning with this OB here. So price could technically push higher to this 50% fib retracement. At the same time, hit the OB, then go lower. At the same time, price could also do a pullback to this OB here at the 78%, which is the quote-unquote golden zone, is what they say, and push lower. So that's our current expectation. At the same time, if you remember, so right now in the 4-hour, we broke the structure, so we're expecting bearishness, right? At the same time, if you remember on the daily was forming bearishness too. So the daily broke this structure, so we're expecting Daily broke this higher low, so created a lower low. So we're also expecting bearishness on the daily. So the daily is correlating the 4-hour time frame. So it gives more confidence or more probability on the trade if we took shorts here. So daily is bearish at the same time 4-hour is bearish since we broke that structure here. Oh, what was that? Here. So we're expecting price to maybe do a pullback to either this OB or this OB higher. Let's just say from this OB, then continue the trend, which is bearish. Lower low, lower high, lower low. And that's the 4-hour. So also, if we go on the lower time frame, we can look for scalps. So the 4-hour is, so if you go back to 4-hour, so we're expecting a retracement, right, on the 4-hour. At least a good retracement to this OB. So on the short term, on the lower time frames, we can technically ride a trend up to this point, then we enter sells again. So how do we do that? We just go on the lower time frame. Let's go in the 15-minute. So right now structure is just pushing down, pushing down, still pushing down, pushing down. So we're waiting, or at least if it breaks this lower high right here, then this could be a shift, an order flow shift on this specific time frame for bullishness to meet the higher time frame bearishness or the higher time frame pullback of its bearishness. So this let's mark this up as orange. This orange zone, orange line is the 4-hour. Then this blue line is the 15-minute. If it breaks this lower high right here, then we're expecting a shift for bullishness. Why is it shifting bullish? Because it's following the higher time frame order flow, which is the 4-hour retracement to this OB here to continue creating lower lows and lower highs. So yeah, that's basically how I view structure. At the same time, so right now we're expecting on the 4-hour, we're expecting retracement. Then we're waiting for the 15-minute break from this lower high right here. We can also look for on the 1-minute other breaks of structure. So what do we see on the 1-minute? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This one broke the structure here, the lower low. It's lower low, expecting another lower high and continuation. So unless price breaks this lower high, price is still bound for bearishness. But let's just say price broke this previous lower high, then we're expecting bullishness, a bullish order flow. At the same time, at the same time, it could go higher to break that, remember that 15-minute lower high, which was this one. It could break that 15-minute lower high, which adds the correlation, or which adds up the story of that 4-hour pullback. So we want that 4-hour pullback to this zone. We see a break of structure on lower time frames. So it's relating to that story of a pullback of that 4-hour. So if it breaks structure in the lower time frame, then we can look for buys there to ride the retracement higher to this OB on the 4-hour. So I think that's it on structure. So yeah,